Hello and welcome to episode 19 of our Timberborn 1.0 experimental playthrough on the Ant Farm map with the Iron Teeth faction. The last episode before the full 1.0 release. So, by the way, we're in cycle 21 day 1, since I always say that at the start and I did not this time. So what we're going to do this episode is focus a little bit less on trying to figure out the automation stuff. We'll save that for the full release. But I would like to get this map in as much of a better position in the next 50 to 60 minutes as we can in advance of 1.0 dropping, because once that does, we're going to spend a little bit of time playing with some different playthroughs, and yes, by popular demand, a dedicated figure out automation live stream playthrough thing on Thursday when the game update fully drops. So right off the bat, before we move on to some other stuff, I really want to thank you guys in the comments for, one, being supportive and being constructive about what I'm doing wrong without being mean. I really appreciate it. And also for those of you who've given some really, really helpful advice on fixing the existing problems. So in terms of the fluid dumps, the problem that I inadvertently created and did not know that I was doing wrong is I left the fluid dumps connected to the depth sensor instead of the timer. So that's why nothing changed. So let's just go right here and reattach these to the timer so that the timer can actually affect them and it won't do that weird flashing back and forth thing. If I understand what you guys were saying correctly, that should take care of our immediate problem here, and that is going to be wonderful. Once again, thank you so much for all your comments. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to actually hopefully understanding the mechanics with your help in a live stream so we can finally put this behind us and then come back to this map and really get into it and do some cool stuff, because I'm still having a whole lot of fun doing this. Like, never mistake frustration for being sick of doing this. It's a function of me always wanting to make sure that I'm doing the best I can, because you guys take time out of your day to watch these videos. I don't want to waste your time. That, to me, wasting somebody's time is one of the most disrespectful things you can do, and I don't ever want to do that. So before we move on to the rest of this, let's just take a look here at this contamination sensor that I put in, because I wanted to see how this worked. Right now, obviously, it's 0% because we're in a fresh cycle. But as this bad water stuff happens, I do want to see how this activates. Obviously, we're not changing any of this anyway, but I don't want to forget about that. Otherwise, getting this thing figured out with the depth sensor and the timer and everything, I think is going to really take a lot of the stress off my plate trying to figure out what we're doing here. But last episode, we also, I have to zoom out so I can hear myself think, we put this little bad water aqueduct in, which, yes, did cut off a lot of flow to these wheels here, but they're still turning with the overflow from down here. In fact, we're not making a ton of power, but it's still enough to justify these being here for a little bit longer. We've got an opportunity as this playthrough progresses, both today and after we take a little bit of a break, to check out the new 1.0 stuff in different playthroughs that are not this insane map. We have an opportunity to expand this and have this zigzag just a little bit to make a little bit more power, and we know if we leave it on, it's not going to be an issue. It's just it overflowed at the very start, because that's how it works. But we do have this bad water pump operating. This one, very soon, once the metal parts are created, will be able to go. And then we do have space. One of the comments said, well, before I diverted, we had space down here to put in some more bad water pumps. For right now, if we were able to slightly reorganize this area, we probably could also put one in on top of this thing. It just would not go all the way down. There is a tiny bit here that we could get. Again, it would not touch the top of the dome. But that's something we may have to end up doing after our little break here. Which building is flooded? Is that this over here? It looks like it is. Okay, good. Now that this is flooded, I am going to just manually pause this. I know we got 17 beavers that don't have any jobs. That's one of the... Nope, not that building. I guess also, yes, that building. But I need to make sure these guys are all pumping. I did not turn the pumps on at the end of the last episode because I was in a confidence death spiral. You know, these things just happen. But that is looking okay. What's the... I should click on the depth sensor. So this... this is set to on. Oh, here I go again. Oh, okay. That's the initial 24 hours. Let's watch this. Let's do this once. and see if this does what we are wanting it to do. I'm pretty sure we've got it figured out now. No, you can never be too sure with these things. This also should be operating, but it is nighttime. Okay. And we got 6 hours left. Is that pumping? It should be very... There it goes. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was going. So what we should see here in another 4 hours is these should all turn on at the same time. Now I can see all three of them. Ah, I think they added this text. Probably not just for me. I've seen multiple people saying that that was a thing they were confused about. Good. Good, good, good. This is doing exactly what it was supposed to do the entire time. And yes, I probably just read the instructions wrong. But I'm glad that's taken care of. That's a huge load off our shoulders. Now I've got some... Oh, I don't have enough storage for planks. I should increase that. But for now, I'll get these warehouses taken care of. We're going to increase our storage. We're going to organize things a little bit better. I don't need to have this on triple speed, first of all. That was just supposed to be to advance timing on that. How are we doing on power production? Oh, we're doing great. We're doing fantastic. I want to try and put as much storage as I can in this general area. Kind of redo this and start migrating these things away, because remember, one of the main reasons that we did this was so that we would not have to have bad water pollution everywhere down here. And part of that does mean we have to figure out something to grow here. Depending on how we want to do the rest of the playthrough, it may need to be trees. It may not be. I also saw a couple of you say that this playthrough is basically complete for all functional purposes, and while I do agree the initial challenge of what this map represents has been technically conquered, I do still want to properly finish the series, as I do for almost all of them, by launching the monument, the Earth Repopulator. So, I guess it's a wonder, not a monument. That's what these are. I still want to do that, but obviously, you know, we got a lot of stuff to do first, and we will get there when we get there. But just so everybody knows, I do want to commit to actually finishing this the right way, but I don't think we're going to spend a tremendous additional amount of time on this playthrough, especially because we have all these other things going on. That being said, we've got fermented cassava corn rations, fermented mushrooms. I think what I will do here is I will have some of the raw materials, since we've got, corn storage, and then cassava. That's not cassava. Where's the cassava? Am I just insane? No, there it is. Okay. All right. And what's probably going to happen is as I continue stacking these things, I may end up reorganizing how these fit, and then I think 2 levels of these for what we're going to do is probably going to be fine. I may end up moving the food production to be on top of the large warehouses to try and free up some more growable space. Stacking with the iron teeth, you know, it's what they do. It's what the buildings are designed to do. So we might as well take advantage of that, but we are going to have to be cognizant of the materials that we're using and make sure that we don't make any ill-advised choices. So, hence, we've got this. Actually, all right, I'll tell you what. I've been doing all this yapping. I might as well do exactly what I said I was going to do before I do too much. All right. Bottom level, I know this is not how this is set up right now, but bottom level needs to be for finished product. Top level needs to be for ingredients, if we're going to put stuff on there. So, fermented cassava, corn rations, fermented mushrooms, because that's what we're currently making. And then regular mushrooms go up here. I'm not able to do anything else without planting canola. Which, you know, we can do. We probably should do. But we need to reorganize a bunch of this stuff, and I'm not willing to commit to that quite yet. That doesn't mean we can't plan for it, though. And I will go ahead and put in a space for eggplant rations and eggplants, and then algae rations and algae. Now, this is going to cover most of the food that we actually need to be worried about. We do have 9 different types of food, but berries, I think I might have said last episode berries could go in one of these. Now, the 200 there is fine. Kohlrabies, we can stick those somewhere. They're not really that big of a deal. Same with mangrove fruits. But the only thing we would have left at this point that isn't represented here is soybeans. And honestly, I probably should have put those here, but because of the way this is set up, with the water sources and everything, I'm not going to tempt fate by messing with this. So I think that is probably going to be fine. Honestly, what's the boost for soybeans versus the boost for algae rations? I don't actually remember. It's probably the same. It's probably +2 for both. But if it comes to it, I probably would rather have algae rations and leave out soybeans, because I can grow the algae in one of the things here instead of having a bunch of land dedicated to it. So I'm going to leave this alone for now. And then, of course, we do have to have platforms to access all of this. This is now the 3rd or 4th time I've clicked on this breeding pod and said, yeah, we're going to get rid of this, and then I do absolutely nothing. So you know how that goes. Because we, it's the vanilla game, we don't have ladders, we do have to come up with a proper staircase to get up here. And that is where I think it's going to make sense to employ these spiral stairs, which I absolutely love. I'm so glad we have access to these. And it's going to make the most sense probably not to have that at the very bottom in that exact spot, but this right here to come up to this spot here. We do need this to come up to this way, but we probably can connect this to the top level since they're going to be coming across this whole thing anyway. I just need to, slightly redesign how that goes. So that instead could be coming up from this side, and we just have somewhere... beavers are not affected by falling water in terms of contamination. This doesn't get contaminated anyway, so... if you will permit me to make a potentially foolish decision here, I'm going to lose my mind if I can't click in the right spot. That is not quite. Let's try the double. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put, because, you can't build directly on top of an irrigation barrier. I'm going to do this. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, folks. Look at what this is about to allow us to do. I love it when a plan comes together, even when I didn't even know it was a plan in the first place. Let's go. They'll take care of, taking care of that. That's, great job there. I'll have to watch that. We'll come back in a couple days if I remember. But that's going to get us up to here, and then I believe I can make another staircase over the path here to get on top again, because that is where all of our processing's going to go. So we will have to have, for purposes of this, 3 food factories. And food factories also have the enormous benefit of transferring power from their second story. So that may be useful, depending on how we want to do stuff. I was going to try to have these things stacked on top of the correct place for all of their things to go, but then I realized I can't build straight down for pathing. It's going to have to be on the edge anyway, so it's probably not as big of a deal. That being said, I do think it makes sense to have maybe a little bit of nice symmetry here, and we can put fermenter, 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 and again, it really doesn't matter, but this can be for corn, this can be for eggplant, this can be for algae, and that gets us, pretty close. And then this right here, I know I could have cloned the building, I always forget to do it. Cassava, and then mushroom, no badgers included. And all we've got to do, we're probably not going to get into bots in this one. Oh boy, bad tide time. We'll take care of that later. Normally I'd say this is a good spot for a charging station, but I don't think we need to do bots. This is a small enough map, and we're functionally, quote-unquote, done. So I don't have another building I can stick here that takes power that also generates some sort of actual function, except this guy, but that's not going to fit. So the boring, safe answer is just, let's put power shafts in. And that is going to be that. So we'll have path come here, path come here. Make sure we have, actually, that would make a whole lot of sense to... No, that can't route that way. That's fine. Well, we're just not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. Once again, that's almost done. But I do want to get this framework in place so we're not caught off guard. And then, like I said, I'm going to have a... Oh, I didn't put a path on this level. Good thing we checked. I'm going to put in, as best as I can, a little spiral right here in front of the doorways. That'll get me there. If I didn't have this path here that was super vital, I would have just done that in that spot. But I believe, since we already have some stuff going on in this general area, that this is... Yeah, let's do that, because we're going to have to come over here. Why'd you pause the game? It's a trauma response. It's fine. We'll just, we'll go here. And we'll go here. And we'll go here. And then we'll go here, and that's almost done. And then we'll take care of that as time allows us. It's probably not that big of a deal to get this removed, but I do have beavers up there right now. Once again, going to let them do this. Then we're going to rip this whole mess out and just reset it, make sure we're set up for success, and then we can stop this and expand what we have going on here, but I don't think I want to mess with that at this exact moment in time until we are absolutely sure what we're doing. We are generating excess power, so I will turn the number cruncher back on, because we're going to need the science eventually anyway. These should not be a huge deal in terms of keeping things irrigated now that it's fully automated. The biggest problem we're going to have, and especially because we haven't built any more fluid pumps, water pumps, in a long time, is, we only have 3,100 water, and we do have 74 beavers now. Let's actually hit pause. Let's think about this without wasting time. This is not going to be pumpable. This is not going to be pumpable. This is going to be pumpable, but it's not going to last as long as you think it is. And, long term, we do need to increase the depth of this, which, of course, is going to increase volume. That's how it works. So maybe that would be a good project for this bad tide, is to actually, of course, we can't go any further past that, but actually detonate stuff in here. We do have some access through here. And, We'll figure it out. Don't let me forget, I say to the people that can't reply until, like, hours after I finish recording this. We'll figure it out. We got 1 day left. This has been taken care of forever and ever and ever, and that's not going to be an issue. Now the main challenge is figuring out how to reorganize most of this stuff. And then, of course, I do need to start building additional hydroponic gardens. Those should be built in places that are not arable. It looks like this is ready to go. No. Okay, now that that's done, do I want to have that intermediary platform? I don't think I need to worry about it. Yeah, I don't need to take that out. We'll just put this here. So, again, this is here because this is basically a free space. That is going to allow us to get up here and get over here, and then also immediately get up here without it being a problem. So that should be okay. We can also build storage on top of this. Don't forget, this may actually be a good place as we continue expanding to put our, these things, hydroponic gardens. In fact, I may go ahead and do just that in a little bit. I was supposed to check this. All right, you know what? It's fine. Don't worry about it. Just get rid of that so I can continue and get that all in place, and then we'll be in a very good position we can be pretty proud of. So obviously, like, they're perfectly synchronized, or they were. Pumping will continue until morale improves, so it's basically going forever. And it still, I don't think, is quite enough, even though it's essentially 6 per hour. We're consuming quite a lot. Now, knowing that we're about to have bad tide come in, let's come out of... Oh, I didn't put a pathway here. Oh, they didn't finish building it. Okay, let's do that one soon. We do need to get this... It really probably doesn't matter all that much. But I feel like I should be doing absolutely everything I can to make this whole thing a success. So we will we'll continue doing that. Yeah, I could automate it, but like I said, we're gonna figure this stuff out. I'm not gonna give up on it. Like I think maybe some people might have gotten the wrong idea about some of my comments. I'm not gonna give up on the game. I'm not gonna give up on the automation. It's gonna take me a little bit of time. And I appreciate any amount of grace you can give me in that regard. And I do acknowledge that I should be giving myself that same level of tolerance and understanding. But we've got this all taken care of. I may have overfilled stuff a tiny bit, but that's the way it goes. And now we have 25 days. 25 days. Now, every day we have to have a minimum of, I would say, let's round up to 200 water. So, 200 times 10 is 2,000. 200 times 20 is 4,000. And we have 5 more days than that. So, plus we have all these things we have to dump. So, we're not in a great spot with water. But at the very least, we do have pumps that can continue here. We have pumps that can continue here. I am going to turn these off for the time being. And this is basically already done. We don't need to worry about this being irrigated because we have irrigation elsewhere. So I guess I could just let that continue. Yeah, we'll let those two keep going. I know I have 8 homeless beavers. We're going to work on fixing that. That's part of the whole process. But one of the goals was to get this up and running as soon as we can. This needs metal blocks, not metal parts. We do have both. Somebody left a comment saying we need to get going on a mine. And yeah, looking at this, we're basically out of scrap metal on the map. So, early on I said we're probably going to have to do excavation. And then some people said, well, you know, you don't need to. And those people would be correct. We actually don't need to. So that is a very pleasant surprise. So I don't have the science to put this in yet, but that'll be a priority soon. And looking at the terrain here, we can actually, with the help of the spiral stairs, which I know I've made many positive comments about these. Legitimately one of the best things they've added to the game. It's like, it's a nice bridge between stairs and ladders without feeling too... Well, I'm not ever going to say ladders are cheaty because I like ladders, but it does remove a whole lot of challenge from the game, and I think that's fundamentally why a lot of people dislike them. But that's going to work great, and we'll, of course, have to supply it with supplies, because that's what supplies are. Well, we'll get that figured out. I just want to let you guys know I haven't forgotten about that, and we will be able to do what we are able to do. Let's get this paused. And this is just about dried up. I'll go ahead and pause. Yep, there we go. And that didn't really get us a whole lot more water. If we're truly desperate and it's still there, I guess we could do this. These guys will keep pumping. But bottom line, what I was trying to say a couple minutes ago and then got immediately distracted by, we need to add additional pumps. And this spot right here isn't really a great place to put it. But I also kind of don't have a whole lot of other options. Which is why I think it's a good idea for us to dedicate some time in this episode, since we have, we got dynamite, to actually deepening everything here. They should be able to reach all of these from right here. That should not be an issue. This is a double, so that is fine. This staircase is only necessary to put this one in. And as far as the rest of this goes, I don't know that there's much else we can really do. But I will put as much of these in as I can. Of course, the goal would be to make this as big as possible. But we are going to run into some limitations, shall we say. I'm going to take this one out and put in some stairs here so they can actually walk down and around and get down in here. They won't be able to reach all of this, but fortunately, another thing that I'm really glad they added to the game, you can put paths underneath or on top of, depending on how you want to look at it. The dynamite did not used to be that way. I forget exactly what update they changed that, but I'm very glad they did. And objectively, this is not a lot more space, but every little bit counts. We should try, always try our best. So, food-wise, I've had a lot of this paused, And this isn't connected. This isn't operable. We have so many extra beavers. I really don't need to worry about pausing these. But I will unpause this. I still have enough metal blocks to do what I need to be doing. These are all operating, and I don't have a lot of extra in the way of cassavas and mushrooms, and especially now that our population is effectively more than doubled from the last time I expanded our farming, we are really going to have to get on that. But like I said, we're clearing space, we're going to reorganize, things are going to be great. No reason to be mad. So we're going to get this in some turbo speed territory. Go through our jobs. At this point, there's basically no reason to pause something unless there is a very scarce resource we're trying to protect, like water. Dirt excavator, it's an injury building, and if it's not actually able to, make any dirt, then there's no sense having somebody in there. And that's still going. Fluid dumps are regulated. This one is not. Which one is this one? Ah, that does not need to be on. Okay, I'm glad we checked. Food factories, that's fine. Foresters are all on. The gather flag. Gear workshops, I don't need to be using all my wood quite yet. Hauling post is full, that's good. Hydroponic garden's good. Lumber mill, I don't need all three. Lumberjack flags, that's a good one to have all turned on. Do we have enough power to run the smelter? Survey says no. Or the wood workshop. Well, we're going to need wood workshop wood sooner rather than later, so what can I afford to pause that's using power? What can I afford to pause that's using power? Not yet. We won't do it yet. But I can turn on the steam engine, which is going to give us a little bit more and give me enough to do this wood workshop. That should be just about perfect. Otherwise, I think things are looking okay. I know I've got extra advanced breeding pods. I have one more over here. Let's go ahead and take that out. Let's just get rid of that. One, because we have way too many extra beavers right now. And two, 4 should be enough with the advanced versions where we don't have to wait for them to grow up. And honestly, I kind of do want to shrink the population just a tad. Okay, that feels good. Because of the amount of water we don't have, I'm not going to build hydroponic gardens right now. I think we can wait to do that. But I do want to monitor the situation here. Oh, wow, yeah, they pumped that quick. This is ready. So let's come over here and put in one more dynamite. And, oh, they can't reach that. Alright, well, the easy way to solve that is just to put in a staircase there, and then they can reach those. Don't think that's going to be a problem. They're going to be able to get to just about all of this. Let's go for double. That is... Oh, man, there's a log there? For shame. Well, I know how to solve that problem. That is... probably, yeah, let's do that. And then I will need to have somewhere. Oh, I don't have a lot of planks. I really shouldn't be building any more things that require planks. I also need wood, so I shouldn't be wasteful or flippant with how I utilize my resources. But, let's see, that's 8 log. I mean, these are free to build, so it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put this here because I think that is going to make the most sense. I don't want to blow up the edge of the map. No, no, no. What am I going to run out of first? Extract or dynamite? Probably dynamite, the way things are going. I'm trying to get... Okay, yeah, you know what? You know what? Is that going to... Of course, that's not quite going to reach. Alright, I can't build anything here. Alright, the only way to do this, the way that I have this set up, is unfortunately going to be to just blow this up and put a spiral staircase there, but it is what it is. I'm just trying to get a little bit more space, and that will help me do it. This needs to be a double. That's going to be a triple by the time it's done anyhow. This, as long as it's actually supporting stuff, can be a tunnel. You cannot... I'm trying to remember what the build order for the tunnels has to be. If I have it on the bottom... Well, theoretically, as long as it's supported, it doesn't matter. Anyway. Oh, that's a lot of planks. Maybe we'll wait. Maybe we'll wait on that. Because it's not insignificant, having 6 additional cubes, and honestly, the entire bottom of this... Okay, hold on. Before I lose what I'm thinking about, let's do this. I need to mark that for cutting. Any other trees I should know about? Probably not. Okay, that's going to have to be good enough. Okay, these are still pumping. They will have this completely dried out. That will be fine because there's irrigation above. For the most part. And that is still irrigated. It will absolutely all evaporate. 20 days. Alright, I'll tell you what. Let's keep these paused. 21 unemployed beavers. How fantastic is that? Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. We just have to have a little patience. Make sure we are doing everything we can to process stuff. Yeah, the log shortage is hitting us kind of hard, and wait, do I not have a... Okay, I might actually not. Alright. So, lesson learned there. Realistically, it's probably not actually learned. 30 days, 12 days to get 2 logs, 7 days for 1 log. For where we are now, and the fact that we're going to need more... We're going to need wood sooner, as opposed to having more wood later. I'm going to plant pines up here, just because we need wood. That's going to be the easiest way to handle it, and we don't need to feel bad about it not being oaks. Okay, that should self-regulate now that I don't have to have anybody pausing any of these buildings. We just need to relocate things. Yeah, I did foolishly embark on a quest to build a whole bunch of stuff that requires a lot of planks at a time where we didn't have a lot of wood. It's fine. Well, while we're waiting on that, I guess we could take a look at this and see how this is progressing. Oh, they haven't finished this. Of course they haven't. They don't have any planks. Let's prioritize this, or else they're just going to keep building those big storages forever. Okay, that I cannot blow up until this is taken care of. And of course they can't do that because they don't have any stairs. Who would have thunk it? We've got pines. I don't want to cut those. Okay, the bushes don't need to be marked for cutting. Also probably don't need that many berry bushes. This is set to continuously plant. Okay, we got extra dynamite that is not going to do us any good if it's not being used, so why don't we take some time to blow up stuff that we can blow up. Let's just get that set up. K for kaboom! No bad things happened because nothing bad ever happens. I don't know that I have enough to really get into this so much. I want to make sure that this is cleaned up as much as we can before this bad tide is over. Now that this has been cleaned, this may actually make more sense to bring this down and level it out. And maybe push the berries to the outside. I kind of don't want to mess with anything that's structural overhangs, but I know I can always make this into a tunnel if I have to, but that doesn't grant us any more space for planting, so I don't want to deal with that. What is unconnected building? Oh, I have to click on this now. Oh, okay, don't care about that. That is fine. That's always been fine. And since I don't have any more planks, I can't do anything here. We do have a decent amount of wood that has yet to be pulled out of the ground. I guess that is okay. This can be oak trees. I feel like I was... Oh, no, I was planting cassava. Not cassava. These things. Kohlrabi in here. I can also... Because we have the dynamite, I can do this. I can't blow this up unless they have a way to get... No, they don't. Okay. I'd have to build... Wait a minute. I'll tell you what. I can currently do it I don't have planks, but I can currently place something here. This is going to be worth, it's going to be worth it. We just have to remember that we've done this. Because that's not structural at all. This is self-sustaining on one single block here. That's going to be fine. Everything else, honestly, is looking alright. 17 days left. We're down to 2,500 water, which is not great. We'll be alright. We'll G6 this time. There we go. What else can I blow up? Okay, so that's done. Waiting on explosives, so we will get that taken care of, and then I need to put in a spiral staircase. We can do that, and then we can get rid of both of these. We're going to get some nice additional volume. I can feel good about that, but we do have to have stairs and stuff in place. This problem will self-regulate in due time. Don't need to be worried about it. Alright, somebody come in here and finish that. We will G6 this one as well. And now spiral stairs. Then our friend in the lumberjack flag can come and grab these 4 logs, and we can blow all this up, and we're all gonna, live happily ever after, so on and so forth. And this, the level is now low enough where it can't come out of this sluice gate here. That's something that I'm gonna leave for the future or not mess with at all, depending on how this ends up looking. We just need to do what we need to do, and we'll come back and look at some of that stuff later. I know we still have a bunch of homeless beavers. I need to figure out a good place to put housing. I thought about trying to use housing as a power transmitter vertically in a couple more places, but the way this is set up right now, that unfortunately does not make sense until I start reorganizing. What we can do, since this space on top of here is not being used, when we have the supplies necessary, I can put platforms with overhangs on top of all this. I know these have to be elevated. This is just for illustration. And then depending on how I put in the, what-do-you-call-it's over here, we'll be able to put in some nice beaver storage on top of here. And of course we have this right here. We can take that out. We can put in large row houses. The footprint on this 3x2 to hold 10 beavers is immediately just absolutely outclassed by 3 large row houses in the same space, which would give us 32. And I would do that, but I don't have enough logs currently, and I think getting planks is slightly more important with the limited wood we have, so that we can take care of the rest of these things we are dealing with. Okay, now, this lumberjack flag can go away. Spiral stairs can go away, and I can come in here with the double dynamite and knock that out. They'll be able to come in here with some planks whenever we get around to it. You know what? I should have done this a long time ago. I need to deprioritize absolutely all of this, except the spiral staircases. Those are fine, because this is just, it's absolutely sucking up our workforce and our resources. Don't need to worry about that. We'll come back to that later. Now we should see in pretty short order all of these things. I need to connect that before I forget. Get all of these things popped in here, and then, folks, we can have some fun. So, what I am going to do, I think for the first time in this playthrough, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to time-lapse some of this, just because, well, there's not really a lot to do except wait for more wood and get all this dynamite put in. So I'm going to let them do that for a little bit, and then when they have finished, we'll come back and we'll detonate it. We'll take a look at any other expansions we can do with the reservoir, and then continue on our plan to take care of reorganizing food things. Alright, now we have to come in here and take care of a few more things before we detonate everything. Let's remove the rubble, make sure we pick up all these because they're kind of in short supply at the moment. And looks like once that's taken care of, we should be almost good to go, minus putting this one in here. I obviously cannot detonate below a platform, but if and when we, kind of reorganize this, we'll deal with that at that point in time. I know there's stuff over here that needs to get taken care of. We will get there, and let's get this out. If we can get these 5 planks back, I'm sure that will be of great help to a bunch of other projects we've got going. I can't take this out because there's a tree there, but who cares? come and grab the planks, and then we will take this staircase out. And come and grab those planks, and then once those are done, I can put in the last piece of dynamite. We can set it off, and we should be in a very, very good spot. Let's make that a priority. Get that on triple speed again. And come on, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. There we go. All right, now the fun part. We're going to K for kaboom a whole lot of stuff all at once. And then I forgot that one. Alright, now I know there's a couple more pieces that we could have gotten out of there if we really wanted to. But I feel comfortable having massively increased our reservoir capacity. Plus, you know, all of this too, that counts. We're looking pretty good, and we will fix this like I said, but I'm going to let it be what it's going to be. Now, because we have 11 days left, and we're down to 1.5k, that is substantially more than 10. Last time I checked. This is not going to be enough for 75 beavers. Because even if it were only beavers consuming the water, we would already be out with 2 days left. I'm going to turn these back on. We'll suck the rest of this up, and if the crops die, they die. That is a sacrifice we must be willing to make. So, I think we are in a pretty okay spot. Still waiting on some trees to come in. Still waiting on plenty of other stuff. We do have the science to get started on the mine. But because this requires so much wood that we do not have, I'm not going to build it yet. We will save it for the next episode, but I will unlock it. I will place it, and we will pause it. So all we have to do is just hit unpause when we have... We have like half of the gears right now, but to make more, of course, they have to be processed twice. And that's going to take up all of our logs. So we're going to leave that alone. We've got a full storage of treated planks. I don't have anywhere else to put treated planks at this exact moment in time. So we probably sometime soon should figure out where we're going to move all of this stuff up here. That's a 4-long building, and then we have another 4-long building in the explosives factory and the smelter. So that would probably be a good thing to put right here, just angled out this way. Well, angled is 90 degrees. That's the only angles in this game. Unless you're in dev mode and you mess with the dev mode paths, cannot recommend those. That breaks some stuff. Now we just need to focus on getting the rest of the storages and these buildings built. And unfortunately, folks, that takes a whole lot of planks and a whole lot of gear. See, I know there's a reason I didn't unpause that mine. So, seeing that, there's really not much else we could do for the time being. Except just time-lapse stuff. And I know it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but it's going to get us in a very good spot, and it's going to let me end this episode at a decent runtime and at a good spot for us to leave it alone for a couple of days and go play with the new fun stuff in 1.0 and then come back to it refreshed, recharged, and most importantly, with hopefully a much better understanding of the automation mechanics with a little bit of help from you guys after the live stream. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to let this run until the end of this bad tide. Step in to, save the beavers if we get super low on water. We'll figure that out. And that's going to be all she wrote. But I will let them do what they got to do, and then I will talk to you right before the end of the episode. Okay, so we're almost at the end of this drought cycle. Or I guess it's technically a bad tide, but it might as well be a drought. Yes, we have 0 water. However, we're not in a terrible position. First of all, come on, let me click on a beaver. They're going to be all right. They're going to take a little while to do their work for maybe a day or two, but it's going to be okay. I did, if you paid attention, put this floodgate down to get the rest of this water in here, and they did manage to pump a tiny bit of that back up. But then I realized I forgot to turn these off, so it just got probably dumped right back in. Anyway, before we get back into cycle 22, I did want to go ahead and put in a third pump over here because we have the ability, we have the materials now, actually. And that is going to be absolutely crucial for us as we continue working around all of this nonsense here. I don't really have anywhere else to put this without demolishing anything. I don't have a path coming over here, so that's not going to be viable. No, but all the pumps have been unpaused. And as soon as we get water coming in here, then these beavers, I'm sure, are going to be absolutely clamoring for it. But they'll get to work on that when they have the ability to. And for now, while we wait, we might as well do our end of episode stuff, and we can get out of here before things get too crazy. I always appreciate you guys watching and leaving helpful, insightful comments. Critical when it's needed. You guys usually do a good job of being kind about that. But I do genuinely appreciate you guys being here. And I appreciate the community that we have cultivated over the past... Wow, coming up on 6 years since I started doing YouTube. Actually, I think from the time of recording this video, in about 2 weeks, it'll be 6 years. We're starting out with a Ukrainian city builder named Ostrov before I did Timberborn in the September of 2021. Yeah, I'm really thankful to have you guys here. Of course, not possible to do all this without the support of the Beard Boosters, who keep the channel sponsor-free and smooth out a little bit of the bumpiness of the YouTube business, and just make sure that you know, stuff just goes well here, and it provides a little bit of boost to what I get from YouTube, so I can afford to still do this and not try to go off and get a full-time job doing whatever. So, again, always appreciate you. We'll be back in this one probably next week sometime, because on Thursday, well, I guess technically tomorrow, the release of this video, we are going to be deep in 1.0 full release, and boy, oh boy, are we going to have a whole lot of fun with that. So I will see you then. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.